this at the last minute. Appreciate it.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's twice now.
I just tripped over myself.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Jeremiah Show, third hour, Dr. D, and we've saved the best for last. Our good friend rejoins us on the Jeremiah Show. He's done 3 shows with us, and if you're not careful, Skunk, we're going to think that you like us.
Well, we're gonna have to charge you a rent.
I'm standing by. Rotor's hot anytime you want.
I love it. All right, so let's get right to it. You know that warm, euphoric feeling, Dr. D, when a good friend crosses your doorstep again.
Oh, yeah.
And rejoins you. And for the time you spend with them, the world just feels right again. As much as going on right now,
you guys,
the world feels right again. And that's truly how I felt thinking about you coming back on the show, Skunk.
Well, thanks. And thanks for what you were doing for the vets. I mean, really appreciate that.
What you're doing for the vets, and we're just re-airing it for you. And
good team.
Yeah, for sure. I'm feeling blessed for knowing this wonderful person and getting another opportunity to listen to his thoughts on music, life, and the human experience. And if you know him, I believe he's a humble man, Jeff Skunk Baxter. And in my opinion of him, will most likely make him feel a little bit uncomfortable, but to me, he stands tall among guitar mortals. In this world, he is a guitar god to many. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's played with nearly everyone who's anyone in music, and his distinct guitar skills from the Doobie Brothers and Steely Dan. He chairs the U.S. Congressional Advisory Board on Missile Defense. His new solo album is soon to be released. Speed of Heat.
I have to say that is an interesting.
You guys are too kind.
A mixture.
I really appreciate it.
I wasn't finished. I still got more of Skunk. I hope you don't mind.
Advisor to the military and has an album.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Speed of Heat.
Yeah.
It's slated for release, I believe, on June 17th. If that changes, we'll let you know, and hopefully we can get you back for number 4, and then for sure you're our friend.
No, I love it. You guys have been great.
Okay, so Jeff Skunk Baxter is here. He's going to premiere his new song, "My Old School." Originally, it was a Steely Dan song, right? It's on the album Countdown to Ecstasy, released in '73. The song is being released Friday, March 18th, which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then there will also be singles released on April 15th, "My Place in the Sun." And again, on the following month, was it April, May? Well, 4/15 and 5/13 Apache. Again, I need to take my
and all that stuff is still subject to
could change.
Yeah, because you never know. But we are going to be releasing a number of things from the record. I guess the album, and even the word album, I know is somewhat antiquated, but the project is going to be released in June, and then we're going to do a double vinyl release in September.
Wow. And this is your first solo album, is that right, Skunk?
Yes. Yeah. First official one.
First official.
Somebody put some kind of a compilation together that I didn't know about and put it out, but this is the real thing, the real deal.
How long have you been working on it?
Oh, about 10 years.
Wow.
But we just haven't had a lot of time. So myself and my buddy CJ Vanston have just been, when we get time, go in. And then we started concentrating a little bit more on it about 3 years ago. And then one day we woke up and it was done.
10 years later.
Yeah.
One day, 10 years later.
10 years after, right.
There it is. Just tell us a little bit about the album, if you don't mind. Just kind of talk about there are 12 songs. And
yeah, that's why we're going to do a double vinyl album. We just ran out of room, couldn't put it all on one LP.
How many songs did you originally write or have ready and maybe even record? And then over this 10-year period of time, did you have a lot more and you had to narrow it down, or was it always these 12?
We had a few, but it really started out because CJ and I just like, playing together. So we'd set up something on a drum machine and just start playing. And there's a couple of cuts on the record. One is called Giselle, and the other is Juliet, that were written while we recorded them, pretty much. So we just started to think. That's one of the reasons why I like working with them so much, is because it's one of those things where you don't have to finish somebody, can finish somebody else's conversation. Only this is music. And so we started out with that, and then it was going to be an instrumental record. I want to do Apache. Every guitar player wants to do Apache, and a bunch of instrumentals. And then ran into Mike McDonald, and he asked me what I was doing. I said I was doing a solo record. He said, well, if you want me to sing on it, I'd love to. And then I was up at the Bohemian Grove, and I ran into Clint Black, and he said, hey, Michael said you're doing a solo album. I want to say, okay, that's great. And then Johnny Lang called me because he said he wanted to maybe get into law enforcement. Could I help him? I said, well, so sure. And I hear you're doing a solo album. We played up in Park City. I said, well, I'd like to play on it. I said, okay. So it morphed into kind of half and half. You got to be flexible, right?
Yeah.
Improvise, adapt, persevere. So that's what we did.
I would imagine, especially of an album that you're putting together over 10 years, and all the people that all these fantastic musicians that you've played with on their albums, and you just run I'm sure you run in these circles, and you see them at benefits or concerts, and throughout those 10 years, it must be hard to probably narrow, to not bring in everyone. Everybody probably wants to collaborate with you on your first official.
Well, there were a lot of folks who were very, very kind, and he said, yeah, I'd like to work on it. And I said, well, we pretty much got this one wrapped up, but hopefully I'm going to do another one. And, there's should be plenty of slots open. As a matter of fact, on My Old School, the organ solo was David Page from Toto, because he said, I am going to play on your solo album.
There was no question.
Dave, of course, man, absolutely. You're one of the cats, So yo, you're in.
What were you doing in Santa Barbara? I heard that you were in Santa Barbara last night. Were you up for a benefit, or Michael McDonald was with you? And I think, right? And
yeah, I was doing a benefit for a friend of mine. Her husband was running for district attorney. And so I've known her for quite a while, Catherine Remack. And I said, sure, I'll help any way I can, because she's really good. She does a lot of stuff with animals, with the Santa Barbara Zoo. And, I'm kind of a fan of that stuff. So, like I said, I'm ready to go,
Yeah, she's great. I love her.
Yeah.
She's wonderful.
Know her well. Yeah.
Big heart.
Yeah. Really great. Well, so can you, what song is Michael McDonald on? Can you say where he collaborated with you?
Yeah, it's a song called My Place in the Sun. And again, this was the deal. If you want to be on this project, you have to agree to two things. One is to co-write with myself and CJ. And number two, to do something that you've never done before, to do something completely different. And so everybody agreed. I mean, when I played the Clint Black song for his wife, she said, who the hell is that? I said, that's your husband. He went, what? I said, yeah, I mean, this guy, your husband, is a multifaceted, amazing musician. This is not a country tune. This is something very different. Same with Johnny Lang, something very different. And the thing with Michael was very different. And so everybody acquiesced, and I think we nailed it.
Where did that idea get? How was that born? That idea that you asked everybody, you've got to do something different. What were you thinking of? What was your end goal, or what had inspired that request?
Well, it's a couple of things. It's the idea that, okay, if you're going to have Clint Black, we're going to do a country song. And if we do Michael, or, we'll pick an R&B tune. And if we do something with Johnny Lang, it's got to be a blues tune. No, because all of these guys are fantastic musicians. And in the same way as in my day job, sometimes I find people who have never had an opportunity, you know, a 4-star general has never really had the opportunity to be on the red team at a war game and really mess with people because they're not not his job. I wanted to say, hey, this is your whatever you want to do. And something that, you know, is outside your lane and not in your wheelhouse or whatever, you know, simile you want to use here, metaphor. So that was the idea. That was the whole idea. Here's an opportunity.
And was that exciting for these musicians to kind of go rethink and try it? Something they'd always wanted to try out, but it felt that they were looked at it one way and may not. I mean, most of the people that you've got on the album are pretty established and they're pretty sure of themselves, I'm sure. But that sounds like fun. That sounds like a great opportunity for a musician and artist.
Yeah, and they all dove right into it. Once, especially with Clint, I mean, there's an opening guitar riff on that song Bad Move that's Clint played, and it has nothing whatsoever to do with anything country. He's a big Steely Dan fan, and it's really obtuse.
Can't wait to hear.
And there you go. You know, all right, man. Now you're in the groove.
Are you feeling really good about it? Are you proud of the album and feeling?
I am. Yeah. I am. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff, and you know, I'm not certainly. I've never done anything that I really didn't like, but this is a labor of love, and I wanted to take a shot at it, and I waited a while because I've always thought that, you know, as soon as you leave a very successful band, the first thing people do is do a solo album. Number one, I didn't think I was ready for that. Number two, we're too busy. And so I just thought it would be worth taking some time.
Yeah. Well, worth the wait and anticipation, right? I mean, your fans are just probably dying to, we're all dying to hear it. And
well, I hope so.
Get a copy. Well, so can we talk? I want to, before we move off of that, with working with Michael Mcdonald, I should know this, but it just kind of sprung to me, and I don't know how often. Do you guys get together and play a lot still, or is it
not a whole lot? But Catherine a lot of times puts things together.
Guys together, yeah.
Up in Santa Barbara, and we get a chance to play together.
Skunk, I hope next time you're here, you'll let me go buy you a beer, a cup of coffee, or something.
That'd be great. Sure.
Busy guy. Okay, let's talk about the song, your single, which we are going to premiere at the end of the show here in its entirety. My Old School.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really, really great. Really love it. I was texting back and forth with Mike Gormley today, LA Personal Development, just saying a friend of yours and I know manager, and I was just said I just love this song. It's really, really great.
Well, I appreciate that. And I used to sing it live when I was in Steely Dan. And I noticed that as we did it more and more and more, it rocked a little more. I mean, it's a fine song, and I'm really proud of the recording. But I always thought it had, you know, a much more muscle somewhere. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to take a shot. And actually, I wanted Steve Tyler to sing it. And so I did a scratch vocal and I sent it to Steve, and he said, "Who's this singing it?" And I said, "It's me." And he says, "Well, why don't you sing it?" I went, "Well, because I'm not a singer." And he goes, "Yeah, you are."
Yeah. That's what I love about it. I love your voice.
And I said, "Okay, well, you know more about this stuff than I do, so I'll take your word for it." So yeah, I took a shot.
Oh, nice. That's great. That's a nice compliment, Steven Tyler. What would you like? What if you put the two together? What would change? And from the 71 version or 73 version, excuse me, to now? What are the things beside that you're singing the vocals? Yes. Did you punch it up? You said it got heavier and
well,
heavier.
I would say it's the difference between an M80 firecracker and a thermonuclear detonation.
Wow. You can't get a better quote than that.
It's just a rocker.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it
is.
rocks.
Yeah. Oh, can't wait to hear it. Now you're making me anticipate. I want to get to the end of the show here. I want to spend time with you, but I want to I want to hear the song. Dr. D, did you say we need to take a break? You're waving at me over there. Hello.
Waving you down.
Hey, to both of you guys, happy St. Patrick's Day. And
Oh yeah.
Dr. D, I just want to drop in again. Happy anniversary. Dr. D's been the sound engineer at the studio for 16 years today. Happy anniversary. We will be right back. But before we go, let me give you out a little information here. The release that we're going to play here that we're talking about with Jeff Skunk Baxter is My Old School, remade, reimagined, and watch out. It's a thermonuclear blast to your ears.
And happy St. Patrick's Day to you too, Lottie.
Yes, sir.
My whole family is Scottish, but we love the Irish because they're between us and English, you know.
There you go.
Have a great time.
I'll let you guys talk a little bit.
It's a beautiful thing that you talk about here, lad, because, when you're in the pub and you're just listening to the folks, it's just a lovely sound to hear that lovely lilt of the Irish speaking, whether it's English or Gaelic, I don't care. I don't care either way, just to sit there with a pint. And by the way, have you ever had yourself a car bomb?
No, not lately. Not my thing, Larry. But I do love the lilt as well, especially when I'm in the bar, in the pub, and the guy's buying me a wee swally,
Well,
wee
it's
baby.
I actually have a little Scottish in me and a little Irish. And of course, it makes for a very, very volatile combination because I love to drink, but I don't love to pay.
Hey, that's an old joke, There's a fly. There's a fly in the guy's. And the guy's he's having a pint of heavy, and so there's a fly in there, and he pulls the fly in and says, "Did I swallow that? It's mine."
Oh my God. You guys could go on for hours. Right?
Yeah.
Should I stop it now?
Yes, you can stop it now.
Okay.
You know him. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's played with nearly everyone. As I've mentioned, the Doobie Brothers and Steely Dan. He chairs the U.S. Congressional Advisory Board on Missile Defense, and his new solo album, 10 years in the making, is soon to be released. It's called Speed of Heat. It's slated for June 17th. It may change, but I'd put that on your calendar. You definitely want to pick up, if you buy any music this year, you want to buy Jeff Skunk Baxter's Speed of Heat. And at the end of the show, we're going to premiere My Old School. Skunk is premiering that with us. The song is released Friday, March 18th, and that's tomorrow. And if you're listening on Saturday, that was yesterday. So what are you waiting for? Get it. We'll be right back after this break.
All right, stand by in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. We've got a very special guest today. Jeff Skunk Baxter rejoins the show, and we're talking about music, our favorite thing to talk about with Skunk. And he's premiering a new song, My Old School, if you're just joining us at the end of the show here. And I believe it might be the first time it's been put on radio. So if that's true, Skunk,
I think so.
Yeah, and if it's not true, just lie for us, please. Make us feel good.
No. To the best of my knowledge.
Yes, I think it is. BMG
Right.
sent me the single yesterday, and thank you, the guys at BMG, and very excited for the new album coming up, Speed of Heat, slated for June 17th or so.
And you know what the Speed of Heat is?
Yeah. What's the title? Great title.
Yeah, it's the physics that happens when an object gets close to Mach 1.
Wow.
So, and
Okay.
I'm an aviation guy, and so is CJ. So we love airplanes, and I spent a lot of time in that world. So I thought, actually, I told the president of the record company it was a working title, and Dave Hirschland said, "I love the title of this record." I said, "What title?" It's The Speed of Heat. I said, "Well, it's just a working title." So, well, I love it. He didn't know what it was. He just liked it. So we said, "Hey, you're the record guy.
Yeah,
I'm going with it. You know what you're talking about."
it's a great title. Great title. And I love all the different images you're giving us here with this music, where it's a thermonuclear blast. It's, aside from a firecracker, an M80, it's Speed of Heat. It gives me it gives great imagery to your great guitar work and your vocals. So
thank you, sir.
Very cool. Yeah, you brought it up, so I'm gonna continue with this. I was listening to an interview of yours that you did. Is it D'Angelo guitar?
D'Angelico.
D'Angelico. I'm sorry. I knew I wanted to check that, but
John D'Angelico.
Yeah, and
the original guy. Yeah.
you were talking about the science of the guitar. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind elaborating on what you mean by that, how you had to just, in Mexico City, you didn't know anybody to repair guitars. So you just started to take them apart or figure out how to make them work and fix them. And then
yeah.
you went into the science of the guitar. I just thought was fascinating.
You take a knife and you stick it into the toaster and you find out real quick which way the electrons go. and my dad gave me a copy of the U.S. Army radio manual.
Just so I know which way.
Which way?
Yeah. Towards whatever's grounded. And that's me. So my dad gave me the manual, and it's interesting because Leo Fender used that original U.S. Army circuitry when he designed his first guitar amplifier. So anyway, I just got more and more into it and hung around with people that repaired televisions and radios and got into it. And next thing I knew, I was repairing guitars. And when I when I was working in New York, I went to work with Dan Armstrong and learned a whole lot about guitar repair and customizing and electronics. And then when I started working in missile defense, I said, hey, as far as I can tell, a radar, a radar is just an electric guitar on steroids, same physics.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to work. And that's when I wrote the paper, and that's how all of that kind of stuff. So there is a synergy with all of this in terms of frequency and vibration and cohesive oscillations, stuff like that, all that stuff.
And how does that extend out? I mean, because I think your theories or your understanding of the guitar and how it relates to the harmonic vibration of the human spirit.
That was John Towns. Yeah, Charlie Towns, the guy that won the Nobel Prize for inventing the laser. He was my partner up at Lawrence Livermore when I was working up there before he passed away. Wonderful man. And he said, the human spirit's a series of coherent oscillations. I said, Charlie, that's what music is. And he went, absolutely, because it's all interconnected. The whole universe exists over a single frequency plane. If you strike a guitar string, the A string on a guitar, it vibrates at 440 times a second. You multiply that times 10 to the 23rd power, and you get the color green. Green is just a superharmonic of A440. And the reason, and you say, well, how can that be? Well, your ears are sensitive from about 20 to 20,000 cycles, and then it disappears. The next time your body has any cognizance of frequency is when you feel the infrared from heat. And then all of a sudden on the visual, it comes in on the red side, goes all the way through the visual spectrum, which is, gigahertz. And then on the other side, then you start to get into microwaves, ultra high frequencies, super high frequencies, all the way up to cosmic rays. So it's all linear. Everything is a super or subharmonic. So when you look at a color, you're actually seeing a superharmonic of a musical note or a combination of musical notes.
Wow. Because I've said a couple of times, I see music sometimes in color. I'm
jealous. If I could have synesthesia for a month,
so I
would love to have it.
I have it.
What would you do with it, Skunk?
I would write a paper. I would go up to MIT to my boys up there, and I would immerse myself into trying my best to figure out a way to synthesize that so that other people could do it.
It's really kind of cool.
You talk about how this is all linear, how it's all connected, how there are frequencies, the harmonic vibration of the human spirit. Music affects everybody all around the world. It's something we've explored and we've talked about a little bit, and something we don't really understand, I don't think. is there, when you see, sometimes the world is really, really dark. And
Yes.
is there ways, like right now, are there ways that music, have you thought about this, explored this, where music, is there a way to gather the energy of music somehow in small ways in towns and off radios and, playing music? I wonder if there's just it
Oh, absolutely.
spirit.
Because music, what happens is the frequencies of music trigger your brain to secrete certain kinds of neurotransmitters: serotonin, vasopressin, oxytocin, adrenaline. All of these create certain cocktails. Make you happy, make you sad, make you angry, make you frightened. I mean, when they first performed Bach's Toccata and Fugue in D minor in the church, they probably should have done it at the end, because they burned the church to the ground, scared the hell out of everybody. Same thing with the first performance of Stravinsky's Rite of Spring. They all ran out on the street and looted 6 blocks of downtown Paris. Wow. This stuff is powerful, powerful stuff. And it is all about stimulating the brain, creating different cocktails like a bartender. Okay, we're going to make you happy. We're going to scare the hell out of you. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Unbelievable. The power.
And
I mean, the Catholic Church outlawed the devil's interval for 300 years. The devil's interval being the dominant and then the flat 5 in that scale. It's all odd harmonics. You can't listen to it very long. So that's why Bach used it in Toccata and Fugue, and that's why Stravinsky used it in the Rite of Spring and went, oh yeah, we like that. We'll have some of that. Yeah. I mean, they could.
You can't listen to it very long. What happens?
Well, okay, hold on one second. All right.
Jeff Skunk Baxter. This is it. This is so fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
I know, and he studies. You've been studying. Skunk's been
So
studying.
we're going to give you a general idea of what we're talking about here.
Okay.
So if I use the dominant chord of a C chord, and I play the dominant chord and the fifth, the regular fifth, you can listen to that for a while, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I use the dominant note and the flat 5, how long can you listen to that?
Oh, yeah.
So Stravinsky goes, oh yeah, we'll have some of that. Yeah, why not? So anyway, that's the power of that. That's the power of music,
Wow, incredible. Dr. D, should I end the break on that note?
Just take it. Yeah, on that note. Yes, on that note.
On that ugly chord, right?
My old school, it's coming up. It's the new single from Jeff Skunk Baxter, our very special guest this hour. I wanted to mention, because you're really, you hold this dear to your heart. You created a PSA for us for the show, which we play at every single show, Skunk. Because it is so important, and we are vets. So let me mention Justice for Vets. Veterans fought for our freedom. We fight for theirs. Help give veterans the support they have earned. Justice for Vets is dedicated to transforming the way the justice system identifies, assesses, and treats our veterans, leading the national effort to put a veterans treatment court in reach of every veteran in need. Yeah. We are committed to ensuring that no veteran is left behind by providing training and technical assistance to help communities bring together local, state, and federal resources to directly serve veterans involved in the justice system due to mental health disorders, trauma, and substance abuse. In doing so, we keep veterans out of jail and prison, preventing the loss of one of our nation's greatest assets to our families and our communities, and we connect them with the benefits and the treatment that they have earned, all while saving tax dollars for the American public. Justice for Vets has helped establish over 250 veteran treatment courts and trained over 3,000 court staff. In addition, Justice for Vets has conducted 40 volunteer veteran mentor boot camp training, serving thousands of veteran mentors. You can help, you can support, you can do it through justiceforvets.org, or as Skunk has said in the past, look around you. We all know a vet. We all know somebody who may be suffering, and do what you can do right now. Don't wait. And I love what you say, Skunk. We won't give up. You don't give up. We'll be right back.
Okay, good. All right, ready for the next one?
Yes, sir.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. Our very special guest today is Jeff Skunk Baxter. He is not only premiering a new single with us on the show today, and we're so honored. My Old School. It hits you, as he says, like I think I got this right. A napalm bomb.
Thermonuclear.
Thermonuclear.
Not good.
Not good. Okay. I knew I'd mess it up. I could only do it
That's all
once,
right.
maybe the right way. And then he's also got something to look forward to, like Christmas or your birthday, or next time we see Jeff Skunk Baxter on the show. We got to look forward to this as well. His new album is coming up. It's called Speed of Heat. Should be out June 17th, but we'll keep you informed when that drops. There's also 2 more singles dropping. And I thought it was very interesting, Skunk, that you are, you mentioned albums are kind of an antiquated way of referencing. I've talked to so many music people, and they say, every 6 weeks now, drop a single, even if it's an acoustic remake or but you got to stay in people's minds because and stay in front of them. Otherwise they forget you. It doesn't matter how big you are. There's just a lot of content out there. So the new format is this: every month or so, every 6 weeks, you're dropping a new single. And I really was fascinated when I saw that, and BMG sent me the tentative schedule for your songs being released. My Place in the Sun and coming up next, and then Apache. You're doing this as well. What are your thoughts on this format? You've seen it all over the years.
This is out of my area of expertise. David Hirschland, who's the president of Renew Records with BMG. I have a lot of confidence in him, and I guess this is what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So my job is to make the record. His job is to get people to hear it and to expose the musical world to the work. So I'm standing by.
I like what you're doing, where you're because it may be new to me, because we see it. We see different artists releasing in all different sorts of ways, and I like how you're releasing every month or 6 weeks, and then you've got the double album, where you can get it, the whole thing on vinyl, right? Or a CD.
Yeah, real vinyl. That's what we used to call making a record. A record.
Yeah.
Record, yeah.
Making a record.
That I like that, because then you're like, you hear the songs, you fall in love with them, you get enough time with each one, and then you'll get the album, right? Where sometimes they put out the album and people don't they listen to it once, but they find the 3 songs they like, then they move on.
Yeah.
Well, I think the CD comes out in June, so you can stick it in your car or whatever you do with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's, everybody has a different way. Sometimes they download it immediately into their phone, or they, but you'll have everything in hand.
Yeah.
Well, Skunk, we're gonna let you go in just a minute, if you don't mind, if you can just stay with me for one more quick segment.
Sure.
I appreciate all your time you give us. We'll be right back with Jeff Skunk Baxter. We're almost there. We're almost to the debut of My Old School. We'll be right back.
All right.
A short one.
Excellent. No. This is you take as much time as you want here.
Yeah, I don't want to take up too much.
No,
Can we complete a full show almost? How long
matter
till
of
we?
fact, no problem. Yes.
How long? Okay, I'll just keep it a short one, because
You
I
can keep
don't
it
want
short. It'll be
I
fine.
wanna
I'm good
emphasize-
till about 5 minutes to
Oh,
3. That's
no
when I got
problem.
a Zoom call.
No
so-
problem.
No, that's I won't keep you all the way there, so you can get a break in
Yeah,
between.
we're good.
Because I don't want to go too far off of what I really wanted to do is debut that, talk about the album, talk about maybe we can talk a little bit about the upcoming tour. I know that Mike got some.
Yeah, I got some dates here too.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
you have them in front of you?
I have them in front of me.
Awesome.
I'm putting
Okay.
in front of you.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. We are with Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, friend of the show. Hopefully we can say that now. And Jeff Skunk Baxter. He's debuting his new single coming up here, My Old School. And the new album comes out June 17th. And really looking forward to that. It's called Speed of Heat. I wanted to ask you something about, someone was interviewing you, Skunk, about the length it took to get the album out, your first solo album. This is your first solo album, and this huge career you've had. And someone asked you, about the time it took, and you, as you mentioned at the beginning of the top of the show, you think a mistake that's a lot of times that happens as a band breaks up, or it's a natural thing to do, and someone goes, the band member, one of the band members, all the band members go and make a solo album right after, and you wanted to wait a little while and let it marinate or let it grow and let it become what it is. And you kept telling yourself, I'll do it someday. And that sentence stood out to me. It kind of popped out. I'll do it someday. And I just looked at that in the context of the world today, where we're all reevaluated what's important to us. I think we've all had a moment or two, if not more, where we've reevaluated where we're at today in the world and how the world, and that term, I'll do it someday. Do you still say I'll do it someday, or do you think you do, you accomplish things quicker now, or you say I'm going to do it today? What are your thoughts on that, on I'll do it someday?
Well, when I said do it someday, I had a bucket list, or I have a bucket list kind of all the things I wanted to do musically. And this is the last one. And to do it right, and to do it to really represent, I think, what I am as a musician, you kind of want to make it after you've had enough musical experiences to really be able to draw from it. And 20 years ago or 10 years ago, I'm still doing a lot of work, and obviously the day job, working for Uncle Sam, and then the night job playing music and producing records and working on other people's records. Just wanted to get to a point where I felt, okay, I got enough musical notes in the musical bank. Now it's time to spend them and do something with them. So it wasn't a question of putting it off. I think it was a question of, and I think Rich can relate to this. It's the difference between drinking cheap scotch and a 16-year-old single malt. It's it needs some time. It needs some time.
Okay. And should we put things off these days, or should we do it as soon as we can? What are your thoughts on that? Doing things that make you happy. Do you think about that kind of stuff much?
Yeah, I do. And I think if it's something that makes you happy, I would suggest to do it right away, because we are mortal. I mean, if I had a friend of mine not that long ago, he's in the hospital for just a small procedure, and he tripped, smashed his head, and died. I mean, you don't know what the future, unless you're a psychic, but you don't know what the future has. So if there's something that is really important to you, you should do it, whether it's something for your kids, something for your friends, something for yourself, something for vets, something for mankind, something for just personal pleasure. Because you don't know. You do not know what tomorrow will bring.
What makes you most happy now, Skunk?
Gosh.
This point of your life.
Hanging out with my grandkids, playing the guitar, and still I get calls from all kinds of folks. I got a call from Danny Korchmar about a year ago. He said, hey, remember that guitar that you redid the electronics for me in 1969? I went, yeah, it was a Telly, right? He said, yeah, well, they screwed it up. I needed to fix it. And since everything I ever did was guaranteed for life, I said, yeah, bring it on over. So I still enjoy working with electronics and working with different guitar companies, especially Roland. I've been with them for 47 years now. I love having a place to nurture ideas for musical instruments and stuff.
What Yeah. What made you happy then makes you happy now, which tells me you got it right from the beginning, right? You're living a great life that makes you happy.
I am one of the luckiest human beings on the planet.
Well, we're lucky to have your music and really appreciate having the time to talk to you on the show again. Before we let you go, the tour on the East Coast coming up, and there will be more dates to be announced, but now you got a couple for the East Coast. How exciting.
Yeah, we're going to New York, the Iridium, which means a lot to me because I used to play with Les Paul there all the time. God rest his soul. A very special man. And that's, I'm just looking here on May 6th and 7th. On May 4th, I'll be at the Birchmere, and there's 58,000 people at the Pentagon. So 0.1% of the folks show up. It's going to be nuts. We'll be in Annapolis. We're going to do some shows up in Massachusetts, up in Norwalk, Portland, Maine, Philadelphia at the winery, Annapolis, home of the Naval Academy. I'll have some folks from the Naval Academy over there.
Great show.
I'm really looking forward to playing it. And CJ Vanson, my music partner, who's just a tremendous musician. This gives us a chance to do what we love to do. Just play.
Yeah.
Yes, we have songs, although there will be times when it may just wander off, depending on what the vibe is,
Yeah, we know about that here on the Jeremiah Show.
Yeah, there you go.
We know it well. Well, thank you so much, Skunk. Get your tickets. Where can they get tickets? Should they just go to Google? You'll find them, or you got a specific spot you like to send them? Okay.
I believe so. That is again an area that I'm not too familiar with, but we've been selling a lot of people want to come to the shows, so somebody's found it.
Final words here. I just know how much you care for our vets, and I just wanted to, you gave me a list of some great organizations the last time you were here. I wanted to talk about Guitars for Vets quickly.
Yeah,
it's a 501c3 nonprofit organization that supports veterans struggling with the challenges of post-traumatic stress, or known as PTSD, by providing them with free guitars and lessons. To date, Guitars for Vets and its nearly 500 volunteers have gifted more than 4,500 new guitars and 45,000 lessons to those who have endured the wounds of war. All of the instruments and accessories are provided free of charge to vets in the program, but the cost must be met through donations. For instrument donations, please go to guitarsforvets.org, or you can call 855-G4V-HERO. Guitarsforvets.org. Would you like to say any final words about our vets?
This brings our conversation full circle. We talked about music, and we talked about what music does for the human brain. We have vets, some of whom are in just fine, great shape, some of whom need help. Being able to pick up a guitar or piano or any musical instrument, create a frequency cocktail that then stimulates joy and happiness and good feeling. Instead of taking all these terrible drugs, why not just do it yourself? Find the combination that works for you and have that joy. I mean, it really is a full circle here. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the reasons why I love Guitars for Vets so much.
Yeah. Okay. With those words, those final words, thank you, Jeff Skunk Baxter, and we're going to now premiere your new single.
Enjoy.
Yeah, here it is. You're listening to My Old School, Jeff Skunk Baxter. Have a great week, everybody. Communicate, listen more, and evolve.
All right, we're clear.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.